Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mengs, and it's time to check out another game from the Advanced Wars Master League. The Master League is a tournament that I hosted, inviting 64 of some of the best players in the world to go head-to-head on some of the best maps Advanced Wars by Web has to offer. And this is another match from round 1, just played on one of the best maps, in my opinion, of all time, Caustic Finale. Now, I'm going to link to the brackets in the video description if you want to go check it out. I'm not going to scroll down and spoil the results of this match, obviously, but you can see that a lot of Masters have started reaching round 2. There's still a lot of people fighting in their round 1 games. We're giving them a lot of time so that they won't time out. I want to see them at their best, so I've been giving them like a good increment to play on. Yeah, it's a lot of really cool matches. There's still some matches ongoing in round 1 that I'm definitely going to cast. Izanagi versus Have Mercy Please is a match that I'm following very closely. It's absolutely wild. It's still ongoing, but I'll definitely cast that once it's concluded. But today, I'm going to show you guys a match that I was greatly anticipating. This one, I have a bit of a personal interest in this one in particular, because it features 2 players. One who you know really well, Starflash. I mean, he needs no introduction. He's one of the best players in the world, super aggressive, he plays fast, he's a monster in live games, he's super fun. Like, his matches are never boring. He just yeets his troops into his opponent. Live by the Starflash, die by the Starflash is a known mantra. Like, he is not known for his stall games, just put it that way. He just, like, goes full on aggressive, and, like, 80% of the time he just wins because he's just that good. And he's up against Diaphanous. Now, if you've been paying close attention to this channel, you probably know this guy's name. Most people in the Advanced Wars by Web community don't seem to talk about this guy at all. He is one of those sleeping players that aren't really acknowledged, but he would have won the Egg Cup against Deadefs if he didn't time out in a live game. When I hosted the rematch on my channel a little while back, I'll link it in case you guys want to go watch it before I spoil the results of that match. You can do that right now, click the link. But when I hosted the rematch between him and Deadefs, and you know Deadefs, he's insane. Like, Deadefs won the Grandmasters Live Season 3, he's just one of the best players in the world. He plays almost on par with Inkugart, that's how good he is. But Diaphanous actually beat Deadefs. Now, a lot of people are going to say, but Mengs, Deadefs played as Flak. Flak sucks. And yeah, I agree, Flak is a really bad tier 4 CO, but Deadefs is still a monstrous opponent, and the fact that Diaphanous was able to take a game against him definitely shows me that he is a pretty special player, and that he shouldn't be underestimated. And yet every time I talk about Diaphanous, the Grandmasters are like, oh, he doesn't seem that special to me, I wasn't that impressed, blah 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 blah. And so, in this match, I would say this is like the test of Diaphanous, right? This is the test. Is he as good as I think he is? Because now he's going up against Starflash. There's no bad CO here. They're in a Kindle mirror matchup on Caustic Finale. So if this isn't a true test of whether or not Diaphanous is a good player, then I don't know what is. He's up against an absolutely monstrous opponent here in Starflash. One does not simply just beat Starflash. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are on Caustic Finale. It is a Kindle mirror match because it's tier 2, and even though Kindle is a tier 3 CO, she's very often picked on this map because she's just that good. The Caustic Finale is just a very Kindle-friendly map because there's tons of contested properties and lots of captures going on, so the Urban Blight will interrupt a lot of captures since it's a mixed-based map. So, but I'm very excited to see this one, guys. I'm very excited to cast this one for you. Starflash versus Diaphanous. Is Diaphanous as good as I think he is, or will he fall to the Starflash? I say, we get into the match. So, Starflash in his trademark pink trunks, and Diaphanous wearing the colors of Black Hole. Both players opening up the standard Caustic openings right here, going for the neutral bases first. On Caustic Finale, you know, everything can happen. Usually, fights tend to take place on the northern part of the map due to the initiative of the players. I see mostly, there's like a lot of battles taking place here and a lot of battles taking place here. And there can be battles in the corners depending on how heavily players choose to go into infantry. So both players just capturing their neutral properties right now, grabbing the cities within reach. It's the capture phase of Caustic Finale. It's pretty much figured out at this point. Everyone plays it more or less the same way. But you're going to start seeing variation. It really depends on who decides to open up artillery and who decides to open up tank. That will really dictate the pace of Caustic Finale. Will we see an artillery game or will we see a tank game? Inkugart, for example, really loves opening up artillery on Caustic Finale. But a player like Starflash, I'd say, is more inclined to open tank on Caustic Finale, because he likes a more aggressive paced game. He's not a big fan of the artillery stalling matches. So here you go. As you can see, Starflash opens up tank. So this is good because Starflash can now decide whether he wants to roll the tank over here or whether he wants to roll the tank over to the right-hand side. So see what Diaphanous decides to respond with here. He goes for the capture, and this is something Kindle can do because it's very hard to interrupt Kindle caps. She'll fire back with 40% extra firepower. You'll take quite a beating if you do that. Diaphanous responds with a tank in response to Starflash tank, so now he can roll it over here on the right-hand side if he wants. He probably will do that. Both players are playing this very similarly so far. Starflash deciding to go for a cheeky little cap here on this property. And what I always find interesting about Caustic Finale is whether or not both players are going to fight over this city. This city is always contested, because due to the initiative, it's like both players can take it on the same turn, and there's always lots of infantry around. Either it stays neutral, or both players will just ram troops into it trying to get it. I personally like to just ignore the city. I just don't think it's worth it. Here we go. Starflash goes tank into artillery. So he wants to use the artillery probably to take this half island right here, while sending his tank into the center, where it can threaten Diaphanous. So here we go. Both players, yeah, they're equal on income, equal on capture. Diaphanous parks his tank on the city, builds another tank. So Diaphanous has 2 tanks. Starflash has tank artillery. Starflash's turn, captures a lot of properties, goes up to 16k income, and gets a nice little shot on Diaphanous' infantry right here. And of course, he opens himself up to a counterattack, but he can bring his artillery in, and that's probably what he's doing, yeah. So he's bringing in his artillery to perfectly guard his tank. So now Diaphanous, he can still go and take the engagement with the tank, but he's going to lose his own tank by doing so, and especially considering Starflash just opened up another tank here. So Starflash is telling Diaphanous, I'm going to fight in this area of the map now. You can either face me, or I can just roll over you, or you can try to exert pressure somewhere else. Let's see what Diaphanous responds in terms of this. Starflash also decides to, he doesn't want to give Diaphanous this property right here, he goes in. So we're probably going to see a game where this city is going to get fought over a lot. Diaphanous' turn rolls in, turn 7, he goes for the comm tower. Decides to interrupt the cap, not from the forest, but from the road, interestingly enough. I guess he wants to keep the infantry here so he can interrupt again. Interesting maneuver. Uses his tank to shield this infantry from being struck by this one. And goes for the harbor. And yeah, as you can see, instead of damaging Kindle's infantry, he decides to shoot this infantry and uses his tank to move down to strike Starflash's infantry here. He's kind of just letting Starflash have the city. He's saying, okay, I'm not gonna fight into your artillery. I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm just gonna let you have this. I'm gonna go and apply pressure down here instead. And he builds an artillery, like so. Day 8 rolls in for Starflash. He captures the comm tower, or starts capturing the comm tower. Diaphanous takes a bit of a pot shot at his infantry there to get some chip damage in. He really doesn't want to let Diaphanous get this. He also takes a relatively free engagement here, I think. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Okay, interesting. Is he going to move his artillery over on the city, maybe? Let's see what he decides to do. 2 tanks from his base is very hard to attack here on Caustic Finale. Starflash rolling his tanks into the center right now. Follows it up with an artillery. He's going to threaten this corner property right now. And no, he does not move his artillery down here, as I thought he might, but he has another tank guarding this tank. These tanks are guarding each other. So if Diaphanous wants to roll up and hit this tank, he's going to be in trouble. Diaphanous finished capping his comm tower, interrupts this property over here, and now bunches his tanks together. It's a very strong position by the tanks right here, and he has it backed up by an artillery in the center too, so that's actually pretty smart. And he actually just attacks into Starflash's artillery here. He's gonna get shelled, but if he can take out enough infantry here, Starflash won't have any infantry left to capture this property with. It's actually pretty smart. Diaphanous retreats his wounded infantry up, places his artillery right on the city. This is a very strong position for this artillery, and it gets that 40% bonus to firepower. Uses his infantry to wall Starflash's tank. Pretty smart. Day Day 9 rolls in, ladies and gentlemen. Starflash now has his home tower. Takes a shot with his artillery. And now both players are kind of just busy damaging each other's infantry. But Starflash is moving in pretty aggressively on Diaphanous' base side right here. Comes in and just decides to take a shot with the artillery. Of course, the artillery will get to repair itself, going up to 7 HP, and he will take a nice pot shot on this tank right here. And Starflash is moving and he's saying, yeah, now I'm not gonna let you have the city. Starflash is in interruption mode right now. He's retreating on this side. It seems like he wants to move. He shifts a lot of his aggression over to Diaphanous' 2-base side. So he has a lot of forces here. So Diaphanous will get this property most likely, or Starflash could always like come back and interrupt it. But it looks like he wants to shift the battle over on the left side of the map right now. Day 9 rolls in. Diaphanous takes the shot with his artillery, and now he's pursuing Starflash. Going for the cap, which Starflash generously just gave him that city. And now just pulling back to get healed. Urban Blight not going to come in for a couple more turns, so both players can still afford to repair. Of course, when you're playing a Kindle Mirror match, you got to be careful when you choose to take your repairs, because if you mistime it, you're going to end up losing a lot more money. So it looks like Starflash is just going all out aggressive on Diaphanous right here. He's just going, okay, all right, this city is mine, and I'm now going to pressure you. There's 2 neutral cities that Starflash could pick up as well. But Diaphanous is following close behind with some forces here. So this could be pretty nasty if he's not prepared for it. So let's see what happens. In comes the tank. Starflash is setting up a very dangerous attack, but he could be pincered too. He's spending 1 infantry to interrupt the cap, which is smart. He doesn't want to just let Diaphanous have that city for free. So yes, Starflash is setting up a very scary attack right now. He has a lot of tanks moving together, but he is attacking Diaphanous' 2-base side, which is always a scary prospect to do because, you know, like, Diaphanous can reinforce very quickly here. But this is a scary attack from Starflash, and Kindle is very good at dislodging units on bases. Diaphanous comes in with a counterattack here, gets 2 nice shots at his tank, and he pops his Urban Blight. So he doesn't interrupt any caps, but he's dealing a decent amount of damage. I would say, like, it does hit Starflash's tank right here, which is pretty nice. But in terms of, like, pure damage, it goes from 66k to 56k. It's a 10k damage Urban Blight. Not spectacular, but it's okay. And Diaphanous is seeing a weakness right here in Starflash's positioning, and is now attacking his HQ side. And he's doing a bit of a joint cap here, and there's also 2 juicy properties right here, just his for the taking, if Starflash doesn't want to do anything about them. And I'm also noticing here that Diaphanous built a mech, which on Caustic Finale, mechs on this side can actually be pretty strong, because especially if you're getting attacked really hard on your HQ side, mechs can actually be pretty decent, so. He gets a good little shot here from his infantry on the city. And looks like, yeah, he's just doing damage to Starflash here, because Starflash doesn't have any healthy infantry left in this region, which means that he can't take this city. But it looks like Starflash doesn't really care about this side of the map yet. He wants to, right now he wants to attack here. So Diaphanous is doing a smart thing, buying 2 tanks here to ward away this attack. Builds another mech on his right side. Starflash comes in with his Urban Blight from 72k to 65k, so it's a weaker Urban Blight than the one Diaphanous had. But let's see if he can make something happen with it. He gets a nice little shot off here. Tanks are rolling in. He is attacking into Diaphanous' artillery, doing a bit of chip damage to it with a tank and an infantry, bringing it down to 8 HP. Putting his artillery on the city. And, okay. Interesting. Let's see what happens here. So let's see what happens now, shall we? Starflash follows up with 2 more tanks. And I'm kind of liking Diaphanous' attack here. He's kind of pincering in Starflash, but Starflash's position is really strong. Particularly this artillery is very, very good. It's on a city, it's surrounded. Let's see what Diaphanous decides to do here. Starflash join caps, he really wants the city. Right now, they're sort of tied in income. Starflash a little bit ahead. But Diaphanous just finished capturing this property, bringing it 1870k, but they're still very evenly matched. Starflash has a slight unit advantage, but Diaphanous hasn't purchased units yet, so they're probably pretty tight. They're very evenly matched here. Diaphanous continues his attack. This artillery is in a good position, but it's probably going to get killed next turn. But I like that he has his mech here to guard his artillery. This means that if Starflash wants to hit this with tanks, he's going to get hit back by mechs. Tank rolls in, just takes the artillery fire. Ooh, it cleans up 3 of Starflash's tanks. Really good counterattack by Diaphanous right here. Even capping the city to distract this tank. Meaning it can't join the fray here, which is what it kinda wants to do. So Diaphanous, a really strong counterattack by Diaphanous. I would say he's kinda winning here. But Starflash's turn rolls in, let's see what he can pull off. He captures 2 properties, gets a nice shot with his artillery. Interrupts Diaphanous' cap. Doesn't want to let him get this. And here comes 2 fresh tanks. The artillery now being struck. But Diaphanous has these mechs coming in. Can Starflash ward against them? It's a massive slugfest in the center here. This is a true and tested Starflash game right here. He forgoes his own infantry, sacks his infantry to interrupt this cap. He doesn't want to let Diaphanous get this. But I would say Starflash is in a bit of a pickle here. Because Diaphanous has his power coming up now. And that power's gonna suck. Starflash moving his infantry onto a city, even though Diaphanous' power is ready. Bit of a blunder, maybe? Because I'm pretty sure Diaphanous might pop his Urban Blight this turn. Is he going to do it? Yes, he does. Urban Blight comes in from 58k to... So 8k Urban Blight, not fantastic, but it does deal some damage to Starflash's tanks, forcing some repairs. So that is nice. And Starflash is actually now... Diaphanous is putting pressure on the top left properties right now. So if Starflash is not careful, Diaphanous can get a nice income advantage. He gets a city-boosted tank attack. And more tanks are coming in. Starflash's artillery is now useless. Here comes the mech, striking his tank. Beautifully played. Operation Mech Storm, probably smiling right now. And Diaphanous is continuing his attack right now. And he's got this city now, which is a very good staging point for his invasion. And it's just a massive slugfest. It's hard to say who's coming out on top here, but it looks like Diaphanous is just crushing Starflash. 49k value to 28k. Starflash just got mopped up. Look at that. And now, he has properties hanging here. He has properties hanging here. And he's winning. Diaphanous is just winning on all fronts here. He built 2 artillery and 2 infantry. He's feeling so confident in his attack now. He's just going to solidify his position. Starflash's turn rolls in. Day 13. He just resigns. He just resigns. He just gives up. Now, full disclosure, I did talk to Starflash before casting this replay, and I asked Starflash, is this guy as good as I think he is? And Starflash was like, I don't know. I feel like... Starflash did tell me that he felt he played very poorly. And that he made some crucial mistakes. He said, I don't know how good Diaphanous is. Maybe he's not as good as you think he is. I made a couple mistakes here. But I will say I'm impressed by Diaphanous. I know that many of his victories as of late have been against quote-unquote, like, okay, Starflash made some mistakes. Deadef's played a bad CO, but this guy's play is really good. And look at this attack right here. Just look at this attack that he's setting up here. He's thinking several turns ahead. He's setting up mechs to defend his artillery. That means he's thinking many turns ahead. And he just beat Starflash in a brawl right here, which is not easy to do. So I think, I know I sound very smug right now, but I really think people are sleeping on Diaphanous. I think this is a really solid player that's going to go very far in this Master League. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do next. Let's take a look at the bracket, shall we? So here we have the bracket. As you can see, many Master Leaguers have now moved on to round 2. So if we take a look at Diaphanous right here, he's gonna go up against Dinodan next. Dinodan knocked out Kampa in the first round, so he's a strong opponent. And then if Diaphanous has managed to win against Dinodan, he's gonna go up against Humpelmon, which is also a terrifyingly strong opponent. So I'm really excited to see how he's gonna perform. Sorry, the bracket cuts a bit off the overlay right here. Sorry about that. And theoretically, he could face Toulouse in the semifinals if he goes all the way over there. You know, maybe even Inkugark. I fully expect Inkugark, by the way, to go to the finale. I think Inkugark is just gonna slam his way through here, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see how good Diaphanous really is, because so far, every time I see him play, he just mops his opponent off the floor. And no one's talking about him. So let's see. Let's see how far Diaphanous goes here. I know I'm placing a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He's probably watching this right now. But Diaphanous, I believe in you. You're my pick to win the tournament. I think you're going to go far. Keep playing well. I'm excited to see what comes next. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys are enjoying the Master League. I will see you next time. Take care. Goodbye. Mangs out.